Good evening. Now we are here to discuss a very important topic, that is territory of India. I'm just going to introduce myself. That I am Ovik Ghosh. I did my graduation in electrical engineering in Jadavpur University, and I teach Indian Constitution Polity in many competitive coaching centers. So now I'm going to discuss a very important topic of Indian Constitution. Just to introduce that our Indian Constitution, it's a book, nothing, uh, and it contains around 25 chapters, 25 parts, and 12 schedules, and it starts with a preamble, that is like a preface in a book, and there are 25 parts. Out of that part, it starts with the part 1, that is the territory of India. So I'm going to start the first part, that is territory of India. It starts with the part 1. We need to write it as in Roman script, like part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, like that. Part 4a. A means it added after the commencement of the Constitution. So today I'll discuss about this topic, territory of India, broadly, and I'm going to discuss about the different provisions enshrined in the Constitution. There are 4 articles. It starts with Article 1. So there are 4 articles, starting with Article 1 to Article 4. So Part 1 contains 4 articles, Article 1 to Article 4. So this is the very first, this is the beginning of the Constitution, and this is the first part, and we need to start with the very first article, that is Article 1, and then I will discuss about Article 2, then Article 3 and Article 4. So I am just starting with Article 1. Need just a minute. Now I am just writing Article 1. It is the clause, Article 1, it contains 3 clauses, 1, 2, 3, like that. So it's clause 1. Article 1, clause 1, it speaks about, that is India, comma, that is Bharat, shall be a union of states. It's the very first article. India, that is Bharat, shall be a union of states. It's the very first article. I'm just going to explain this one, that what is the name of our country. Many students, many people, they even don't know what is the proper name of our article. Someone tells that it's Hindustan, someone tells it is Jambu Deep. No, it is not Bharat Barsho, it is not Jambu Deep, it is not Hindustan. It's like India in English, and it is Bharat in Hindi or in any other language. So the name of our country, it is enshrined in the very first article, that is India. And also there is a clause that it shall be the union of states. So it is like a union of states. India, you often say that Jukto Rajyo. So it is union of states. But another clause in Article 1, that is 2. Article 1, clause 2. Here it is defined what will be the territory of India. It speaks that the territory of India shall contain the territory of India shall contain, in A it is written the territory of states, in B it is written the union territories, and in C This is the subclause. So Article 1, Clause 2, this is A subclause, this is B subclause, and this is C subclause. In A it is written that the territory of the states, in B it is written the union territories, and in subclause C it is written that some other territories which may be acquired. Now I am going to explain this one. How many states are there in India now? At present we have 28 states and 8 union territories. Right? We have 28 states and 8 union territories at present. I am just going to write this one. From north to south, if we take a look from north to south, look to the map of India, we can start with Jammu and Kashmir. No, it's not a state, it is union territory. Okay, then first one is Himachal Pradesh, then Uttarakhand, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Jharkhand, West Bengal, Assam, Sikkim, Meghalaya, Nagaland, Arunachal Pradesh, Manipur, Tripura, Mizoram, Odisha, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana. In this way, we have 28 states and we have 8 union territories like Jammu and Kashmir, Ladakh, Delhi, Chandigarh. Now Daman and Diu and Dadra and Nagar Haveli, these two union territories have been merged and into a single union territory. And we have Andaman Nicobar Islands, we have Lakshadweep, we have Puducherry. So there are 8 union territories. So the territory of India shall comprise of, the territory of India, it is the very definition of, it comprises all the territories of the states, it comprises of all the territories of union territories, and there is also a provision in subclause C that if we acquire any territory, that will be included in the territory of India also. How it can be acquired? It can be purchased. Any territory can be purchased by the government of India. We can conquest, we can by conquer, we can occupy any other territory by war or by conquest, or by treaty we can gain any other territory. So it will be acquired. It will be acquired territories. It is written in the Article 1. Now I am going to explain Article 2. In Article 2 it is written that Parliament may by law admit into or establish what it is written that in Article 2 it's written that Parliament is empowered. How it is empowered? Parliament may by law admit into or establish new states. Parliament can admit into new states or can establish new states on such terms and conditions as it thinks fit. So new states can be formed. There is an option in Indian Constitution that new states can be formed. In America, in USA, it's not possible. In USA, that is the true example of a federation. And USA contains 50 states. So the 50 states present in the US flag, it denotes the 50 states. So it is an indestructible union of indestructible states. No one can destroy, no one can admit into new state, no one can establish new state in USA, but it is possible in India. So it is written in Article 2. Now I am going to explain Article 3. in Article 3 there are some clauses like A, B, C, D, E like that. It's written that Parliament may by law form new state by separation of territory or by uniting two or more states or parts of states, or by uniting any territory with any part of the states. In B it is written that increase the area of any state. In C it is written that diminish the area of any state. In D it is written that alter the boundary of any state. In E it is written that alter the name of any state. So Parliament is the most powerful body. Parliament, that is the body comprises of the lawmakers. They are the most powerful persons of India. They are the lawmakers, member of parliaments, they are the lawmakers, and it is the highest empowered body of lawmaking body of India. So Parliament can, if Parliament wants, Parliament can form new state. How? Parliament can unite two states, Parliament can diminish the area, can increase the area, can alter the name of any area, can alter the boundary of any area, provided no bill should be introduced in either of the House of Parliament except the recommendation of the President, and unless in the provision where the proposal contained in the bill, we need to check the bill of the alteration of the boundary, alteration of the name of the state, that if it affects the area or boundary or name of any state, the particular bill should be referred by the President to the particular legislature of the state concerned, and President should seek the opinion of the legislature of the state within the period of such period that is mentioned in the reference, or the President, or the period specified by the President. So, but still the legislature of that concerned state, the opinion of the legislature of the concerned state is not at all binding to the President. President can deny the opinion of the state. President can take the opinion of the concerned state, cannot. President is not at all bound by the opinion of the particular state. And Article 4, that is the last article of this part 1, Article 4, it speaks that the alteration of boundary or establishment of new state or anything, this does not fall under the process of the amendment of the Constitution that is mentioned in the Article 368. So, if we want to establish a new state, so accordingly, first schedule and the fourth schedule both should be amended. How? Why? Because all the names of the states and union territories are mentioned in the first schedule. In the first schedule there are two lists, list 1 and list 2. In list 1 all the name of the states are mentioned, and list 2 all the names of the union territories are mentioned. So in the first schedule, in list 1 contains how many states? 28 at present, and in list 2 there should be 8 union territories, right? And if we establish any new state in our country, so accordingly the fourth schedule should be amended. Why? Because fourth schedule, it contains the allocation of seats in the Rajya Sabha. So accordingly it should be modified. Now I am going to explain how we get this 28 states and 8 union territories. We are starting from the very commencement of the Constitution. In 1950, when we started the Constitution of India came into force on 26 January 1950. This is known as the day of its commencement. We often colloquially it is known as the Republic Day, but very few people know that the actual official name is known as the 26th January 1950 is known as the day of its commencement. So in 1950 we had different categories of states. Like part A, part B, part C, and part D. In part A, we had nine states. These were mainly these were mainly the states which are governed by the governors during the British time. So we had Assam, Bihar, West Bengal, Orissa, United Provinces. Now it's known as Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Madras. Now it's known as Tamil Nadu, and Bombay and Punjab. In part B, these were the mainly Indian states which were ruled by the Indian kings or Indian Nawabs, like Jammu and Kashmir, Hyderabad, Patiala, East Punjab, Madhya Bharat, Bindra Pradesh, Travancore, Cochin, Mysore. These were like. So we had 9 part B states. We had 10 part C states. 10 part C states, mainly partly chief commissioners governed or partly Indian states like Ajmer, Coorg, Kutch, Bhopal, Bilaspur, Himachal Pradesh, like that, Kuch Bihar, Manipur, Tripura. And in the part D category, you had only Andaman and Nicobar Island. What happened when after the commencement of the constitution, by the effort of the Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel mainly, we integrated different categories of states and we started the journey. What happened? In 1950, Kuch Bihar got merged into West Bengal. In 1951, some territories from Assam were given to the Bhutan. In 1950, by the Andhra State Act, we formed a new state on the basis of the language, that is the Telugu, Andhra Pradesh. And in 1954, we merged Bilaspur and Himachal Pradesh and formed a new union territory, that is Himachal Pradesh. In 1956, by the Act of the Bihar and West Bengal Transfer of Territories Act 1956, we got some territories from Bihar. Means some territories of Bihar merged into West Bengal. Like Manbhum, some parts of the Manbhum district merged into West Purulia, and mainly some parts of the Islampur subdivision we got from Purnia district of Bihar in 1956. And in 1956, we formed a committee, that is the Fazal Ali committee. That was Fazal Ali was the chairman. Fazal Ali was the chairman. There are 2 members, K. M. Panikar and H. N. Kunjru. They are some erudite person, definitely knowledgeable person, and it was chaired by Fazal Ali, and on the recommendation of the Fazal Ali committee, in 1956, we introduced the 7th Amendment Act, that is the State Reorganization Act. After the States Reorganization Act 1956, we got 14 states and 6 union territories. 14 states and 6 union territories in 1956. I am just writing down Jammu and Kashmir, Punjab, Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, West Bengal, Assam, these four states. In 1956, we got a recommendation after the recommendation of the Fazal Ali Committee. We got these 14 states. Jammu. I am starting from north to south. Jammu and Kashmir. Jammu and Kashmir. Then Punjab, Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, West Bengal, Assam, Orissa, Andhra Pradesh, Madras, Mysore. We got a new state, that is Kerala, and Madhya Pradesh. We had Madhya Pradesh and Bombay. Now I am just writing Union Territories. Union Territories which were present in 1956. These were 6. Number 1, Delhi, Himachal Pradesh, so we had Delhi, we had Himachal Pradesh, Andaman and Nicobar Islands, Lakshadweep. It was not previously known as Lakshadweep, but rather it was known as Lakshadweep, Laccadives, and we had Manipur and Tripura as Union Territories. Okay, after 1956, what happened? In 1960, by the In 1960, by the Bombay State Reorganization Act, Bombay was split up into 2 states. Bombay was split up into 2 states, Bombay, Maharashtra and Gujarat. So we got a new state, that is Maharashtra and Gujarat. So I am just removing this Bombay. I am writing it Maharashtra. Mainly on the basis of the language. So the southern part mainly the dominated by the Marathi speaking people, so it was known as Maharashtra, and the northern part mainly dominated by the Gujarati speaking people, it was known as Gujarat. So we got 15 states in 1960. And 1962, I am coming to 1962. What happened in 1962? In 1962, we got Goa, Daman, Diu, Daman, Diu, mainly the Portuguese settlement. Also we got Dadra and Nagar Haveli, and we got Puducherry in 1962. These were admitted into the Union Territories category. In 1963, a new act was passed for forming a new state, that is Nagaland. In 1964, we got a new state, that is Nagaland. Nagaland, just by taking a strip from Assam, we formed a new state, Nagaland. 1964. In 1966, Punjab was split up into 2 states, Punjab and Haryana. So we got a new state, Haryana. And also, Chandigarh made the capital of the 2 states, Punjab and Haryana. and Chandigarh was admitted into a new category, that is the Union Territory. So we got another new Union Territory, that is Chandigarh. In 1966. In 1968, Mysore was renamed as Karnataka. In 1969, by the Assam New State Act, we got a new substate, that is Meghalaya. So we got another